In the ever-evolving landscape of music and cinema, where innovation dances on the edge of tradition, few collaborations spark as much intrigue as the one between hyperpop sensation Charli XCX and avant-garde pioneer John Cale. Their latest offering, a haunting track titled Home, serves as the sonic heartbeat for an ambitious adaptation of Emily Bronte's timeless novel Wuthering Heights, a project that promises to reimagine the Gothic romance for a new generation. Charli, with her unapologetic brat ethos and penchant for blending bubblegum beats with raw emotional undercurrents, channels a spectral energy that feels both contemporary and centuries old, perfectly attuned to the windswept moors and forbidden passions of Bronte's world. Teaming up with Cale, the Velvet Underground co-founder whose experimental soundscapes have influenced generations, elevates this endeavor into a cultural event, bridging the gap between indie film's brooding aesthetics and pop's infectious pulse. Wuthering Heights, first published in 1847, remains one of literature's most piercing explorations of love's destructive power, a tale where desire twists into obsession and the supernatural lingers like fog over the Yorkshire hills. The upcoming film adaptation, directed by a visionary auteur, casts Jacob Elordi as the brooding Heathcliff, a brooding anti-hero whose rough-hewn intensity and tormented soul have captivated readers for over a century, and Margot Robbie as Catherine Earnshaw, the ethereal yet willful woman whose choices ignite a lifetime of vengeance and longing. The synopsis alone evokes chills. In the stark isolation of 18th-century England, Heathcliff, an orphaned outsider adopted into the Earnshaw family, falls irrevocably in love with Catherine, the daughter of his benefactors. Their bond, fierce and elemental, defies class barriers, but tragedy intervenes when Catherine, swayed by societal expectations, marries the affluent Edgar Linton, shattering Heathcliff's world and propelling him into a spiral of revenge that consumes generations. The film's visual palette, desolate landscapes shrouded in perpetual twilight, crumbling manors echoing with ghostly whispers, mirrors the novel's atmospheric dread, and Charli's soundtrack contribution amplifies this mood with a modern twist. Announced via Charli's Instagram with a cryptic caption, "If there's beauty, say it's enough." The release of Home feels like a dispatch from those very moors, a sonic letter penned in the dead of night. The track, featuring Cale's distinctive baritone weaving through Charli's ethereal vocals, unfolds over a bed of dark synth waves and sparse piano chords, evoking the relentless patter of rain on weathered stone. Directed by Mitch Ryan, the accompanying music video is a masterclass in minimalist menace. Shot in a remote, fog-enshrouded cabin that could double as Wuthering Heights itself, it captures the duo in states of profound isolation. Charli, clad in flowing black lace that billows like Catherine's spectral gown, wanders the creaking floors, her gaze distant and haunted. Cale, seated by a flickering hearth, delivers a spoken-word passage that drips with hypnotic gravitas, lines that ponder the fragility of home, the ache of unrequited belonging, and the brutality hidden in beauty's embrace. Their voices intertwine in the chorus, a fragile harmony that builds to a crescendo of distorted electronics, mirroring the novel's emotional tempests. It's a sound that is at once intimate and expansive, elegant and brutal, a phrase Charli once borrowed from Cale himself to describe the Velvet Underground's ethos, a duality that has clearly seeped into her artistry. Charli XCX's affinity for Cale is no recent whim. It's a reverence rooted in her formative years, when she devoured the raw innovation of 60s underground scenes. In a past reflection shared on social platforms, she recounted how Cale's description of music as needing to balance grace with ferocity resonated deeply, shaping her own albums where glossy hooks conceal thorns of vulnerability. This collaboration, then, is a full-circle moment, Cale's world-weary wisdom mentoring Charli's fearless experimentation. At 62, Cale remains a shapeshifter, his solo work from the 70s onward a labyrinth of viola drones, piano meditations, and lyrical dissections of alienation, hallmarks that echo in Home's sparse arrangement. The piano, played with deliberate restraint, evokes the novel's lonely vigils. The synths, layered like encroaching shadows, underscore Heathcliff's descent. Lyrically, the song grapples with themes central to Bronte, the illusion of security in love, the haunting persistence of lost souls, and the redemptive sting of memory. Home is where the heart fractures, Charli intones in one verse, her voice cracking with auto-tuned fragility, while Cale's narration counters with tales of winds that carry ghosts to doorsteps uninvited. Beyond this track, Charli's creative orbit is expanding at a dizzying pace, her diary brimming with projects that defy genre confines. She's slated to appear in Faces of Death, a horror anthology that probes mortality's absurdities, I Want Your Sex, a provocative comedy exploring desire's comedic pitfalls, The Gallerist, a drama set in the cutthroat art world, and Sacrifice, a thriller laced with supernatural intrigue. Each role allows her to flex muscles honed in music videos and stage personas, transforming her from synth-pop provocateur to silver-screen chameleon. Yet, it's her musical output that anchors her, with Home heralding an album tied to the film, a collection that promises more gothic electronica, perhaps collaborations with fellow boundary pushers. Imagine tracks sampling Bronte's prose over trap beats, or Robbie's voice as a ghostly sample layering into choruses. Charli's imagination knows no bounds. The film's release on February 13, 2026, Valentine's Day's shadow lending ironic poignancy, positions Wuthering Heights as a cultural reset, a gothic revival for an era craving emotional depth amid digital detachment. Elordi's Heathcliff, with his tousled locks and smoldering gaze, channels the Byronic hero updated for TikTok. Robbie's Catherine, fierce and fractured, promises a performance of operatic range. Their chemistry, glimpsed in early teasers, crackles with the same forbidden electricity as the book, amplified by a score that includes Home as its emotional core. Charli's involvement extends the narrative's reach, her fanbase, young, restless, and attuned to mental health's nuances, finding echoes of personal turmoil in Heathcliff's rage. Cale's touch ensures intellectual heft, appealing to those who see Bronte not as dusty classic but as prophetic mirror,